Oh, hello everybody. In this video I'm going to show you how to make this Python Kivy compounding interest rate calculator that you see right here. So let's just say you start out with $1,000 and you have like a 5% interest rate over 10 years that compounds once annually. You see right here the future amount is $1,628 and change, and here's the interest earned. So I'm going to show you how to make this application with Python and Kivy right now. Stay tuned. Okay, so the first thing is we have two files. We have main.py and calculator.kv. This is going to be how the application is laid out, the layout of it, and here's the main, the main application. So if you haven't already, let's do some. If you haven't already, install Kivy. So do pip install Kivy, and then let's do some imports. So from kivy.app, we're going to import app. From kivy.lang, we're going to import builder, and then from kivy.uix.float layout, we're going to import float layout. And you can see these are all lowercase here on this side. The from is all lowercase. And on the import, the first letter is capital. And float layout, you get capital F, capital L. That's important to remember. Now let's call this builder up, and we're going to load a file. And that file is going to be the .kv file. So whatever you name this, I named it calculator.kv. We're going to call that file, as long as you spell it properly. If I don't spell it properly, we'll get an error. So now let's make a class. We're going to make a big class. Compound interest calculator app. And then pass in app. And then we're going to do def build self. And we're going to return a class that we're going to be making in a second. So just bring that up and get rid of the app at the end. So we're going to return this class here, which we're going to be making right now. Yeah. All right. So yeah, so we're returning this. This should be, actually, you know what? It's not the same name. So copy that. There we go. Paste it in there. We're returning the same thing here. Yeah, and then we're going to pass in float layout. Okay, right. And for now, let's just pass it. We need to do our standard, if dunder name equals dunder main and such. So let's just go do that. If dunder name equals quote dunder main. Then we're going to run the compound interest calculator app. All right, we're going to run this. Let's see if we get any errors. And you can see I just ran it from my terminal, and there's no errors or anything, so everything's fine. It's just going to be a blank application for now because we didn't really do anything with it, but no errors, so that's a good thing. Let's clear the terminal here. I don't like having all kinds of stuff there. Okay, so now let's go to the KV file. For the KV file, we're going to have to bring this. We're going to have to bring this class in here. So let's copy the name of this class here, compound interest calculator, and let's paste that here. And now we're going to do 4 spaces. We're going to do a box layout. 4 spaces. Orientation or orientation. Hopefully I spelt that right. It's going to be vertical. And we're going to do a padding. Not a passing. Not whatever that was. Padding is going to, let's just say 20, and then give it a spacing of, say, 10. Okay, so now we're going to create a bunch of labels and a bunch of text inputs. And the text inputs are going to have IDs that we're going to reference in this class here in order to get the information from the text inputs. So let's create a label. It's a capital L. And the text for the label can be whatever you want. Let's just say principal amount. So, oh God. So whatever you started with, you can do capital letters if you want. Then we're going to do text, sorry, it has to be capital, text input, and we're going to do, now this is important, the ID. So let's just do, principal amount. Let's do principal input, because this is the input. You can name it whatever you want, just as long as you reference it the right way. Anyway, we're going to do input type, and that's going to be a number. So let's just see if we run this. Yeah. So if we run this, we get we get our principal amount and we get our input here. So we're looking pretty good here. So now all we're going to do is we're going to copy these labels and the text input. And we're just going to change a few things in every one. So let's just copy and paste this here. So this one can be the annual interest rate. Annual interest rate. And we'll do, instead of principal input, we'll change this to rate input. And then we'll leave this as number right here. Now let's create a little bit more real estate in the screen by entering down. Just gonna hit the enter button a bunch of times. And now let's go ahead and paste this in. So now we have the time in years. So let's say time in years, and we're gonna have time input for the ID for the text input field. Let's go ahead and paste it again. We can do compound frequency for the label. And again, for the text, for the label text, it could be whatever you want. It doesn't make any difference at all. This is just how you want it to look. And I'm gonna do compound frequency input. Hopefully I'm spelling things right. Now you can also make the ID whatever you want too. I mean, just as long as you reference it the right way in the main Python program, it doesn't really matter. So now let's just see how this looks. Yeah, this is looking pretty good. We have all our inputs here. All we got to do is add a button in order to submit this, and then we have to add the outputs at the bottom here. So let's go ahead and do that. Give ourselves some more real estate here. And let's start here. So we're going to have a button, capital B. The text, it can be really whatever you want. I'm going to have it be calculate. And then on press. So what happens when you press the button? Well, we're going to create a function. We haven't created it yet. But we're going to do root. That goes back to the main program. And the function is going to be calculate interest. So we're going to call that function. And in fact, we can actually go ahead and put this in the program now, the main Python program. So where we passed this, we're going to do def calculate interest. And we're going to pass self into it. And then we can just kind of pass this for now. And we're going to do all our calculations here. Okay, so we have def calculate interest. Now let's do some labels. Label, let's see. It's going to be, let's do ID, amount, label. Amount label, and then text. It's going to be future amount. And then let's do one more. This is going to be how much interest we earned. So it's going to be another label, ID, interest label, and then we're going to do text. It's going to be interest earned. Did I spell that right? I think so, hopefully. So anyway, when we go back to the main app, we're going to need all of these IDs that we have here. We can literally just copy them. So I'm going to copy the principal amount. And I'm going to go back to the main app here. And where it says pass, let's start doing some calculations here. So let's make a variable called principal, and this is going to be a float. And it's going to be self.ids. IDS is what enables you to bring in the information from the .kv file. And just paste in that ID, and then you do text right here. And now, let's go back to the interest rate. Let's get the interest rate ID. I'm going to go back to main.py, and we're going to do rate equals float self.ids, paste in the ID, .text. And we're going to have to divide this by 100 because we're going to type in the rate as a number 5, for instance, but you want it to be 0.5 for the calculation. So divide it by 100. And now let's go back here. Let's scroll down. We're going to get the next ID, which is going to be time input. We're getting this from the ID field under the text input. This is pulling the information from the .kv file into Python. Time equals float self.ids paste in that ID text. And then we're going to have another one called n. N is going to be the number of times it compounds. That's typically what it's referred to as. ID, compound frequency input. So n is going to equal float self.ids.compound input there. All right, and then we have this. So let's just see if we get any errors here. And there are no errors. Program is still looking good. You can see we have the calculate button, and if I click that, I might get an error because we didn't actually do anything yet. What was the error? Could not convert string to float. Let's see, for what? Oh, because I didn't type anything in there. Okay. All right, that's fine. So anyway, so we can ignore that. Okay, so let's do the actual calculation now. And here's the calculation. You got your principal times 1 plus the rate divided by the number of times it compounds. That's what m is in this. M is n in our program. And then you got you got it oh my god, the power the power of the time times m, or the number of times it compounds, which will be n in our program. So here's the formula, and I got that figured out in Python here. It's going to be create a variable, amount equals principal, you're going to do times, do parentheses, 1 plus the rate divided by n, and then the power, this does the power, the double asterisk there, then it's going to be n times time, like that. That's going to be the formula, all right? And then we're going to do interest. Interest is simply the amount, which we just calculated up there, minus the principal. The amount you end up with minus the principal is how much interest you earn. Pretty simple. So now all we got to do is we want to send the amount and the interest to these labels that we created for Kivy down here. Send the amount to this label here, amount label, and the interest to this label. So let's copy this label, copy the ID. We're going to go back to our main app, self.ids.amount label, paste the ID in there, text. So we're going to change the text to equal what we want the text to be. Let's use some the F strings. Future amount, that, oh, how about we put O there? Future amount is, you got like a $sign, and then we do amount, what we just calculated up here, and we want to round this to 2 decimal places. So we're going to do 2F right there. And then let's do self.ids. In fact, let's get the, we're going to have to do the interest label, so let's get the ID. It's good to copy it, so that way you're not going to type it the wrong way. Dot interest label dot text is going to equal F. Interest earned is $sign, and then do interest, which is what we just calculated here, and again we want to round this to 2 decimal places, so do 2F. And this actually should be everything. This should actually run and do the calculations and all that. Let's see how it does. So it's running, let's say you start with $5,000 and then you do interest rate. Let's say it's 10%. You make a lot of money over 10 years, and it compounds 4 times a year. And no errors. That's nice. Of course, it did not round it off, so let's figure out why that is. Oh, and I know why. Okay, never mind. So let's do this again. I need to put point. Yeah, there you go. Put a decimal right there. Let's go ahead and try this again. Go ahead and grab this. So we're going to make a ton of money. We start out with $5,000. We're making 50% a year. How about that? That's a lot of money there. It's going to compound once a year. I don't even know what number that's a lot of money. Makes me jealous. What is that, like 288,000 something? But anyway, you can see this works, and that's how we did it. You got your program right here. Stay tuned for more videos just like this. I'm going to do videos about my outdoorsy woodworking stuff, and I'm still going to do my computer programming. Please like, share, and subscribe the video, because it will help the video to do better, and I really want the channel to grow. So please leave a like, share it, and subscribe if you be so kind. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for the next.